Welcome back to News Geelong as we move into the world of Geelong sport with our very own Mitch Scoop Cleary.
Thanks, Rollo. First up tonight in sport, we speak to Geelong coach Chris Scott as he prepares to take on Sydney at the SCG tonight. He said the Cats would return refreshed from their break.
Yeah, it was really good for me personally. I think our players really enjoyed it as well. We had an extended period of time away, 4 or 5 days, and the boys have been in for a couple of days now, and from what I hear, they're mentally refreshed and certainly they look physically refreshed.
Scott said Geelong conducted a mid-season review but didn't result in anything the media didn't already know.
We did, but none of the things that I can talk about publicly are any different to the things that you guys have brought up in previous weeks. There are some things that are going really well in our game, some things that we think compare favourably with the very best teams in the competition at the moment, but there are some key areas around how easy it is for the opposition to score and how well we're winning the ball in a genuine contest. But I mean, that's there for everybody to see. The other stuff, the more specific things are in-house.
He said there was more to Sydney than just their contested ball style. He said the SCG would also be an advantage for Geelong.
They're quite good there, but they're very good in some other areas as well. So in terms of actually winning the ball in the congestion, that is still important in today's game. It's not everything. They're scoring pretty well, and they're good defensively as well. They play the ground up at the SCG extremely well. But I think that ground suits the way we play as well. We've got some potentially dominant key forwards, and we can move the ball quite quickly in there. So no doubt it's going to be a huge challenge, but one we think we're ready for.
With news Travis Barco had suffered a further setback with injury, Scott said Geelong were hoping he would return in season 2012.
We don't think so. We're a lot more positive than that, and so is the surgeon. He was pushing really close to being available to play for a long period of time there, just couldn't make that last step. And I guess the positive of this procedure is that the medical staff and the experts think that this will mean that he can make that final step. So 3 or 4 weeks is not a huge issue in the context of the season, but in terms of how good he's going to be when it really counts, that's just so far away and such an unknown that I won't comment any further on that.
Such as the tight limitations of the current salary cap, Scott said no outside player could come into Geelong and earn top dollar.
One thing we are on record as saying categorically that we will not overpay players. It's really important that we respect the players that have been champions of our club, and if a player comes into the Geelong Footy Club from another club in the AFL, they've got to fit within our pay structure. So if anyone thinks that they can come in here and get top dollar and come in over the top of our really good players, then they probably should look elsewhere.
And although others won't buy it, Scott said he'd been seeing the Cats returning to their best.
I've been seeing signs, I'm not sure anyone believes me necessarily, but we think we've been improving slowly. Maybe not as quickly as the rest of the competition, but we still think we've got huge scope for improvement. So I wouldn't say we're close to our absolute best, but we're working towards it. As I said a number of times, you can't be at 80% capacity and expect to beat teams like Sydney and Sydney, so we need to improve quickly. But if we had a choice of playing our best football now or playing in round 20 or round 22, then we'd prefer the latter.
Thanks, Chris. Now speak to Geelong VFL assistant coach Mark Hovey as he prepares to take on Northern Blues this weekend.
Yeah, we've got the game up at Optus Oval this weekend, so coming off the back of a fantastic win against Port Melbourne, really looking forward to the game. Boys have obviously had a bye and a few of them went back to their local clubs and played on the weekend, so looking forward to the challenge.
Get to play at Simmons Stadium and now Optus Oval. It's a good challenge to see these grounds up to AFL standard. Yeah,
obviously a lot of the AFL listed guys, they play on these grounds week in, week out, but a lot of our VFL listed players just get to play on their local grounds, and it's obviously the standard is the standard of the surface, and that's a lot better, and they really enjoy it.
AFL side's got a few more back from injury this week, means you might have a few more to pick from and maybe a stronger list this week.
Yeah, well, actually, the week in my couple of years here, I guess the week against Port Melbourne was probably the most AFL listed players we've had in a couple of years. I think we had 17 or 18, so there was probably only 4 or 5 local players play. It gave the opportunity for some of the younger guys to play as well and play in a good win. So some of the first and second year draftees, and they really stepped up when the heat was on in the game and did really well.
Just that game with Port Melbourne, they're the raging flag favourites and knock them off. That must give them great confidence, even though they had the bye and good momentum into this week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a fantastic win, and to be honest, the conditions probably suited Port Melbourne. It was wet and slippery with their big, strong bodies. You know, all the indicators pointed towards them, you know, being the favourite and winning the game. But our boys were terrific. They really fought it out and really hung in there. It looked like at times maybe that Port could have overran us, but they stuck to their guns, kept to the way that Matthew wanted them to play, and we come away with a fantastic win. And I think that's the first time VFL have beat Port Melbourne in a few years, so it was a great result.
I think you're the first assistant coach we've had on this year, and can you just explain your role in assisting the development of these players?
Yeah, my role during the week, I come Monday, Wednesday night and just give the boys a bit of a hand with training and just do whatever Matthew or Paul want me to do. And then on the weekend, I run the bench with Mark Jelly. So Jell and I just control all the interchange, all the rotations, pass on any coaching messages to the players when they're coming on and off the ground. So you can imagine it gets pretty hectic down there. You know, from most weeks we're rotating between 130 and 150 times. So it's pretty busy, but I love it. Obviously, the coming from local footy to this, you know, where you got all the resources and that I love it. It's fantastic.
Thanks, Hobes. And that's all we have time for in sport tonight. Be sure to catch us next week with a big interview from the world of netball. But for now, it's back to you, Rollo.
Thank you, Mitch. Have a good weekend and hope the Dicky knee continues to improve. Now for all the weather conditions expected for Geelong and the Surf Coast over the next 6 days. Let's look at the week ahead. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be partly cloudy with areas of morning frost, followed by isolated showers until evening with a top of 12 degrees. Sunday will continue to be partly cloudy with isolated showers and possible hail and a top of 13. Monday will be cloudy conditions with isolated showers, becoming windy with a top of 13, while Tuesday will be cloudy with isolated showers and also a top of 13. Wednesday will be partly cloudy and also a top of 13, while Thursday will be cloudy with isolated showers developing towards evening along the Surf Coast and a top of 14. Today it was cloudy with rain, easing to isolated showers during the afternoon with areas of local hail. We've reached a top today of a very cool 11 degrees. Thank you for joining us on News Geelong this evening. Now do not touch that dial as we have Daryl Pittman and the boys joining us for the local weekly footy show. And tomorrow morning, start your day in a very special way with the Fun Girls of Geelong and District Netball show at 8 a.m. Donna, you're a doll. To be followed by the award-winning host with the most, Big Dick Philpott and his team of experts, including the man from the duck pond, Little Grubby Cations, with the Geelong and District Footy Show. But wait, there's more. On Saturday, tune in to 94.7 Pulse FM for the live and exclusive broadcast of the GDFL Match of the Day, Werribee Centrals versus North Geelong from the Duck Pond at Werribee. And then on Vision Australia Radio 99.5 FM, the GFL Match of the Day, Newtown and Jewel Eagles versus long-time rivals St Mary's, direct from Elderslie Reserve. All keeping you up to date with the latest in local footy, which is real footy. As we say goodnight to one of Geelong's leading sports reporters, Bradley Green. Keep up the great work, and remember, Bradley, take your time and smell the flowers. From all the team at News Geelong, enjoy the rest of the evening, have a safe and enjoyable weekend, and a very good night.